Hey there, guys, gals, and non-binary pals. It's DMG, and welcome back to Blitz. And today we are going to finally see some replays. I know I haven't posted in a long time, but work has been getting in the way. It's been quite stressful to produce content, do Twister, work, play for the stats, right? Get content. All of these things, something has to give is what I'm trying to say. And I do appreciate you guys staying with me, staying as subscribers. If you're new to the channel, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. It really helps me out. Speaking of subscribers, I just hit 1,400, even though I haven't produced in about a week and a half or 2 weeks, right? So thank you very much. It is very much appreciated, letting me know in a small way that my content is not total dog shit. Anyway, this is Mudslide of the Mudwing in the Tier 7 IS, and I think something that you'll notice first is that he's not running the top gun. I'm not sure whether he's grinding or electing to use the 100mm gun on the IS, but it is quite potent. I've used this 100mm gun on the KV-1S, and I would use it more if it didn't have only 5 or 6 degrees of gun depression. I'm not sure how much the 100mm gun depression is on the IS. I'd assume it's around the same, but the DPM on it is quite scary on the KV-1S, and I can only assume it would be better on the IS, along with the gun handling and the dispersion, or I guess, ammo count, stuff like that, right? It only gets better as you go up. Now, I know I'm personally not very crazy about the IS. I don't think it's that great of a heavy tank, to be honest with you. It really has fallen from grace since it was first introduced. It, along with the KV-3, were probably some of the most fearsome tanks in the game during my first encounter with World of Tanks Blitz. But, a few nerfs happened. It lost its dispersion. It lost its reload. The IS kind of became neutered from being one of the most feared tanks in the game, almost a staple for any tanker to have at Tier 7. Some of you may be old enough to know what I am talking about, but, for those of you who are newer to the game or have not played the game in 2015 or 2014, there's a little history lesson for you. Anyways, you can see the 100mm gun doing a lot of good work here. Mudslide is able to put in consistent damage using a high rate of fire compared to the 122mm, making sure he's keeping that DPM going. And even with a damaged gun, he's able to put in shots effectively. With the 122mm, I can only imagine a damaged gun's bloom reticle would just be absolutely enormous. He can out-reload the SU-100Y, that's the name of the tank. I haven't played Tier 6 in a little while. I know it more as the box tank, trying to be formal here. Anyways, getting finally into the back of that T-29 and is able to finish off the game with 5 kills. Fantastic stuff there, Mudslide. Happy to commentate on your game. Speaking of games and sending in replays, send in those replays. I'm still alive, so I'm looking forward to commentating on your replay. I know with the replay glitch in this most recent update, or the past update, I should say, it has been very difficult to send in replays. You gotta turn them on, and then every game or every time you log in, you gotta turn them on or something like that. That's been fixed now, so don't worry about that if you only heard half of that sentence. So please feel free to send in your replays. I am still commentating. Make sure it is at least Tier 6. I do like watching a KV-1 replay, and I'm sure yours is fantastic, but so is everyone else's KV-1 replay that they send in. And I shit you not, that is what people send in for tanks under Tier 6. Not to say that lower tiers are bad by any means, but the gameplay is a little bit more intelligent at higher tiers, or at least we'd like to think, right? Anyways, this is Chit from Chinola playing in the Tier 7 British heavy tank. This is the Black Prince, still madly OP as deemed by the community, but very far from OP as deemed by myself. Anyways, Chit has always been asking me, can you do a review, not a review, but like a critique of my gameplay of a game where I almost had it and then screwed up. Well, anyways, here's that game. You're about to see a real cracker of a match, actually. So one tank already goes down. What is that? The ARL V39 gets taken down by the Kuro, and we are into the KV3. He goes across. Kuro wants to poke out. At the angle that Chit's at, it will be an auto bounce, but something that could have been done better here is a side scrape. An actual side scrape off the building might be a little bit better. You know, a higher percentage chance of safety might ensure a slightly better bounce angle or a better chance of not receiving damage. Additionally, since the Black Prince is a mid-mount tank, it is more liable to side scraping than front mounts, let's say like the KV3, the ST1, or the IS4. Not to say those are bad side scrapers, but the way the turret is placed makes the Black Prince a much better side scraper in these situations. 3,000 DPM or above 3,000 DPM allows you to really mow through targets, and this Kuro Morimine is about to feel the brunt of that 3,000 DPM as he will get taken out of the game quite handily. 3 shots, he's down. The IS comes around, and Chit needs to pen in this moment. He doesn't. Okay, so this is where things start to go a little bit haywire for him. He didn't pen that shot on the IS, so that's 160 damage missed. So let's count. So he takes 400 damage there. He would be dead in 1 shot. But instead, he's taken 3 shots. There's a 4th shot. There's a 5th shot. So what could have been done in 9 seconds or 6 seconds has been completed in 15. And that amount of extra time, that 6 seconds that you have taken to kill the IS could have been used to kill this SP1C right here. You wouldn't have been receiving as much damage. Could have turned his armor a little bit faster to face the T-34-85 Rudy, and even the, what is it, the IS or the KV3 to his right or to his left. But and then he gets set on fire by the Rudy, and he forgets to hit the, or he's a little bit slow on the multi-repair kit. So just I would say just kind of a snowballing effect of mistakes there. Missing shots, that's lowering your effective DPM. It is increasing the time to kill. And despite a good damage number and 5 kills, a Radley Walters medal, it is not netting him the win. So making sure that you're penning your shots is paramount for success. Because if he would have penned his shots, then that would have taken less time to kill each target, and that would have snowballed into a positive effect for him. So Chet, that is my biggest recommendation. Make sure you are penning your shots. If you need to use gold, do it. Anything you need to do to make sure you're consistently spitting out damage. That being said, all those targets were able to be penned with standard, and that is just more of a aiming better, you know, just making sure you're hitting the weak points, you're understanding what to do, really. Anyways, final game. This is the Stir Emil, again by Mudslide of the Mudwing. He has a double feature, the first being the IS in the first game featured in this video. Stir Emil buffed, crazy buff actually. I think people underestimate how useful the buff could be, and while I don't think it's something super special, if you look at it in terms of percentages, it's very, very strong. So what got buffed? Okay, it always had good gun depression. It always had a good gun. 460 alpha at tier 7 with 13 degrees. AP and HE can be quite potent. But what got buffed was the armor. The front armor was massively buffed. 50 millimeters to 75 millimeters. And you're thinking, oh, that's still weak. I can still pen that. And yes, you can still pen that, but if you look at it in terms of percentages, that is a 50% buff to its armor. That is absolutely fantastic. And with a gun like this that allows you to slice through tier 7 targets and comfortably go through any tier 8 target, you shouldn't really have much problem playing this tank destroyer. And you're going to see Mudslide bounce a few shots in this replay that save him, and would otherwise, in a pre-buff Saint Emil, or Stir, how would I say Saint Emil? Oh, goodness. Stir Emil would not penetrate, or excuse me, would penetrate his tank. Higher side armor and higher front armor allow you to shrug off HE shells a little easier. They may not full roll. You know, even the slightest bit of yellow prevents a full roll of HE. And again, a high roll right there with HE putting the SP-1C to bed. It's a very, very strong tank if you know how to use gun depression. Look at this IS. He is able to get the first shot on this IS, and he's able to shrug HE again from him because of he's angling well. Look at that. He takes it right on the front, and it doesn't go for a full roll. He gets a reload. What happens when you have more alpha and roughly the same reload? You out DPM them and you burn them down. And while this tank doesn't have the greatest HP pool or the best armor still relatively compared to heavy tanks like the Black Prince or the Tiger P, it is workable. It's so much more workable now. And with that amount of gun depression, you can peek these ridges. The fact that he's able to get that, have that opportunity to have the shot on the SU-100 there is absolutely fantastic that a lot of other tanks cannot do. There is no other tank destroyer in the game that is able to do this. SU-152 wants to poke and try and rush the Sir Emil. Not going to happen. Puts in a shot. Fantastic AP pen allows you to slice right through Russian tank destroyers. This AT-8 is going to try and flank the Sir Emil of Mudslide of the Mudwing. It doesn't really work out though. AP going right through the angled side of the AT-8 in that moment. And while this SU-100 is rushing, the T-25-2 is there to help him out. Mudslide puts in a good shot, and hopefully the T-25-2 pens his shot. He does. SU-100 out of the game. Fantastic play, or fantastic team play in that moment by both of them. T-25-2 coming in clutch at the right time, and the Sir Emil holding him in place and putting in a nice meaty round into the SU-100. And accuracy of the gun is pretty damn decent. Look at that right there. Hitting a shot through the little crevice of those rocks there, hitting the T-43 in the smallest parts of the turret, getting him the mastery for 4,200 damage and 5 destroyed. Thank you for allowing me to share my passion with you today, and I hope to see you next time.